is going to be taking place and why.
Okay.
And then once we've done that, we can roll up stats and classes, and everybody can discuss their backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, and how they interact with each other, and people who want background music or all that kind of stuff, kind of thing. We'll do all that. So, we need good ambient music. Somebody suggests an ambient background track while we're busy. Or we can...
Battlefleet Gothic
chat.
music.
I don't even know if it's on here. Let's have a look.
Probably. Everything else is.
Anything, I suppose.
Here you go.
Ah, jeez. Wow, but you're right. What the fuck?
It's fan. It's basically a specific site where people can just put up whatever they want.
I know, I just didn't expect it to be there.
Some people just probably just put it up, like, you know.
Okay, so... after our group of intrepid troubleshooters decided that, nah, dog, getting murdered is for other people, they have obviously, you know, not stopped the big bad genocidal elf people from accomplishing their goals. In the subsequent weeks and years that followed, the campaign's going to be set about 20 to 25 years. I haven't hammered down the exact number, but between 20 and 30 years. It'll be probably about 23, 25 years after the initial point where you guys were. I'm going to be following the standard Forgotten Realm storyline, because they've got a timeline until the spell plague happens, right? And so all the events will still happen as normal for the rest of the areas, but obviously the area down from Icewind Dale and Luskan is going to be following the campaign, that you guys are. The events are going to overlap to some extent on the board. So, Luskan itself is, as you know, it is gone, right? It's occupied. The city itself is no longer trading with the outside. Pretty much everybody that wasn't an elf was put to sword. And everything there is fucked. Alright? It's basically just a staging post for troops getting ferried down from Icewind Dale towards the warmer region. With the trade collapsing, most of the trade routes running from Luskan to Neverwinter, Waterdeep, basically most of your Sword Coast coastal towns have taken a huge knock as far as their trade is concerned, because Luskan is kind of like the hub, if you want to call it that, for goods coming in from the north down to the south. So a lot of the cities, especially like Neverwinter, for example, is hit extremely hard because it's frozen up there, right? It's fucking frozen hellscape, similar to Antarctica in many places. They don't really have the facility to grow enough food to feed all the inhabitants of the city, so they heavily relied on trade for. However, that didn't really matter, because a year or so after depopulating Luskan, Sarwin's forces moved out from there and pretty much put everything from the spine of the world all the way down to the Great Anarok Desert, all the way pretty much to Cormr to the sword. Anything that's not elf is dead. So, humans, pretty much wiped out. Halflings, wiped out. Gnomes, wiped out. Dwarves, stuck in their mountain holes. Can't really do much. Halflings were hit especially hard because there's no halfling homeland, per se. Most halflings just have small communities, usually within the borders of other provinces and kingdoms. And the only real place that is currently still standing somewhat intact is the Kingdom of Cormr. So if you move your eyes down to the bottom right-hand corner of the map, below the Anarok Desert, you'll see that is where the Kingdom of Cormr is, below the Stormhorn mountain range. Now, as far as people can discern, the elves have pretty much been moving steadily down from Luskan, pushing towards Cormanthor, which is to the east of Cormr. Cormanthor is the ancestral homeland of the elves. It's where the city of Mythdraenor stood many thousands of years ago before it got destroyed. And whatever it is that they want, is they've basically been steadily pushing in that direction. They haven't really gone into the Anarok Desert, because there's nothing of much importance there, and conducting a campaign in the middle of the goddamn desert would, just be pointless. So the Anarok Desert itself has still got its tribes living there that have been relatively free from oppression and mostly untouched by the surrounding politics, because they've never relied on the outside provinces for trade or goods or anything like that. So they've, been mostly unaffected by that. So they are barbarian tribesmen, a couple of dust wizards and sorcerers and that kind of thing, and a few monstrous races that all inhabit the Anarok Desert. But for the most part, they haven't been affected by the events that have happened. The other area that exists is the Dale Land. Now, I'm going to explain Cormr and the Dale Lands and Cormr to you guys in a moment. That just has a grounding of what's going on. Cormr is the Elven kingdom. The Dale Lands was where human settlers originally settled, and with the aid of the elves, they set up a series of semi-independent provinces, all with their own government system that met once a year to discuss issues, and they are very heavily intermingled with the elven race. The Dalelands is something like 5% of the population is half-elf, and another 10% or so is made up of elves and drow. So very, very heavy elf population there. Now, next to them is Cormr, where you find gentlemen are going to be based. In Cormr, Cormr is, or was known as the Forest Country. If you look at the minimap, you'll see there are 3 forests on it. There used to be many more, but over the years with the aggressive logging that they've done, you'll see that there already are only 3 forests left. Like a very small one near the bottom, and then 2 other ones. I'll give you the names for the forest in a moment.
Hermit's Woods, King's Forest, Hullock Forest.
There we go. Now, the Cormr itself has not gone unscathed throughout the invasion that's been going on. They've obviously received a large influx of human refugees, human, gnome, dwarf, halfling refugees. Most elves have been turned away at the borders for fear of harboring people sympathetic to what the enemy is doing to the rest of the country. So very few elves left in there. The people that were there have generally been treated extremely badly. Half-elves have been driven out. There have been incidents where the population has taken things into their own hands. And in general, it's just been a bad time. If you're
essentially, it's the D&D version of Zimbabwe.
It's the sort of, yes.
Okay, cool.
Besides all these wonderful things happening, while Sauron's forces have been invading, Cormr itself, about 6 years after the events that transpired where you gentlemen fucked off into the moonlight, Cormr itself was invaded by dragons. And for about, 370? So what's that? 6 years, they were essentially wrecked by a bunch of chromatic dragons flying around and laying waste to a lot of the outlying settlements, until eventually they were put down by the Order of the Purple Dragon Knights. So the following year, they got raided by the orcs from the Stonelands, who then occupied the King's Forest, and they were finally driven out by the king that had arisen from the Dragon Knights at that point. Then, a lot of the nobles, seeing all this bullshit happening, decided fuck it, and they moved over next door to the east to the Dalelands. In doing so, one of the more corrupt nobles actually sold out his city, the city of Cazael, you'll see on the map there, to Magrath the Minotaur, who was a pirate, a traitor to the crown, who used to be one of their generals. Anyway, a couple of years later, the country was reunited, only for the king to be assassinated, King Gondgal, and he was replaced by a usurper, his children going into hiding, and he was overthrown only 8 days later by an allied army from next door, led by the new, who was the regent, but eventually became the ruler of the kingdom. Shortly after that, there was a goblin war that did a pretty significant amount of damage to the kingdom, and pretty much threatened to tear it apart. However, they managed to consolidate their hold on the country. It is currently pretty messed up. There are food shortages. There are lots of refugees filling the cities. Luckily, the country itself is fairly rich in food and basic resources, so they haven't had that much of an issue as far as seeing to the very, very basic needs of people, as long as you're not expecting anything too luxurious. And then about 3 years before the campaign is set where you guys are going to start, the Empire, seeing that Lasarwan pushing it up and seeing the massive amount of refugees that they're stuck with, tried to get a trade treaty with the Dale Lands However, the leaders of Cormr actually ended up betraying them, killing off the royalty of the Dalelands from the various families, and occupying it, and essentially the Dalelands is now just a extension of Cormr. Their autonomy is gone. There are regions set in place to rule the various places, to provide tithes of food and resources and craftsmen and skilled labor to Cormr in an effort to try and keep the country afloat as best they can. In addition to this, most of the Dale's heavy elven population was once more driven from the borders, and the country is now, much like Cormr itself, is predominantly human, with some of the lesser races like gnomes and dwarves and so on making up about 3-4% of the population. But it's almost predominantly human. This is like one of the largest concentrations of humans left on this continent at the moment. Cormr itself, current king, and for the last couple of kings, because they've gone through quite a few of them, all of them getting murdered, assassinated, or deposed, is a wizard. The laws, they have very few laws. There are only 9 formalized laws that are, still rigidly adhered to. All persons entering Cormr must register with officials at a border garrison. If you guys are going to be playing characters that come in from outside, you're going to have some passports or documentation to be able to come into the country. Foreign currency can only be used in certain locations, and you have to exchange your coins for Cormyrian gold lions at the changing houses. If you want to be adventurous, you must acquire a charter before you can undertake any operations in the group. If you're in town, your weapons must be peace bonded. Fancy way of saying tied down into the scabbard so it can't be drawn. The only people exempt from this law are members from chartered adventuring groups and members of mercenary groups that are currently on employment detail or on a mission or a job. Harming cats is forbidden. You have to bow your head to local royalty and nobility. The Purple Dragons, which are a knightly order and also serve as the city's police force, have the right to search you upon request, and hunting on private lands is forbidden. Although I doubt that'll be an issue for most. There are a couple of noble houses, which I'm not worried about right now. The capital of Cormr is Suzail. Has about 45,000 people that live there. The second largest city is Arabel, which is about 30,000 people. There are a couple of smaller towns. That's not really a problem. They have their own currency. They have thumbs, which is copper pieces, falcons, silver pieces, lions, which are gold pieces, and tricrowns, which are platinum pieces that they use. They're not fond of using outside currency, and that's usually a pretty good way to spot anybody that is not a native to the region, is to see what kind of money that they pay with. So, what do you gentlemen want to play? What kind of classes do you want to play? What kind of characters? What kind of backgrounds?
Can we be elves still?
I mean, you can. Just bear in mind that you're likely to get lynched if somebody finds you, or especially in the more rural areas, it's going to be a bad time. But yes, you can be elves if you want to. Just bear in mind, like I said, it's going to be quite difficult. Elves are very much, even though it's not all elves, the perception is that elves are the big bad. Even though logically,
Hashtag not all elves. What if you're like a member of like an artisan guild or a merchant guild? Like, would you be accepted in the cities?
Elf lives matter.
No, still wouldn't be. In fact, they would probably be seen as people most likely to sell information. Because the thing is, at the moment, Cormr has very little trade. There's basically nobody left to trade with outside of itself. That's why it's virtually self-sufficient. If you look at the map, you'll see that it's got the Dragonmere and Wavenwater as its 2 large bodies of brain that help provide fish and the like, and shipping and portage and that kind of thing, going up the rivers if you want to go up towards like the Tunnellands and that kind of area.
If you do want to play an elf, just based on everything that's happened, Drow would actually be more trusted than normal elves.
Correct.
Given everything that's happened.
To an extent.
No, look, it's Drow, which automatically for most people gone as a measure of distrust. But
put it this way,
knows that
they're
there is
considered
no
the
love
lesser.
lost between them.
Yeah, they're considered the lesser of. Obviously,
What about,
playing a
like,
drow comes with
what
its
else and
own
stuff?
downsides. Elf's an elf, man, to a human. They all look like pointy-eared
The-
bastards to them.
The only like, unless you're like an elf expert, the only real difference you can tell is one is white, one is black.
Yeah, like I say, you can play an elf. Just bear in mind, you're
And
probably gonna have to
occasionally
go
one
around.
is translucent.
You're gonna have to go around hooded, or maybe invest in some illusion magic, or alter self.
Or cut off your fucking ears.
Cut off your ears, horribly disfigure yourself. You know, something like that. And then obviously, if you are found out, you know, going, no, sir, we're totally not with the genocidal maniac, even though I am, hid myself from you. You know, is probably not going to work depending on the person you're talking to. But yes, like I say, if you want, you can play an elf. I'm just saying, be aware it's going to be one of those things where it is going to be tricky. There is nobody has any reason to like elves at this point. They have torched most of the cities that they fought. The ones they haven't torched, they have put to the sword and occupied themselves. Many of the cities have had their populaces reanimated to work the fields and provide logistical support to the enemy's forces. You will often see zombies and the like, for example, being used for milling grain or working the fields or carts and all that kind of stuff.
Hans would be in heaven.
Hans might have been in heaven. So, yes. Elves, not too popular. Like I say, even the ones that didn't technically do anything wrong, like the ones from the Dale Lands, there have been quite a few atrocities. And because of said atrocities, many of the elves were not necessarily sympathetic to the goals of Lasarwin and what he was doing, have actually gone over to him, just because it provides a measure of safety, and in their opinion, they feel justified in the fact that, they've been subject to these purges and these things, and some of them consider the humans to be no better than, what the propaganda said originally to begin with. So it's going to be, put it this way, 85% of the population is going to be human. That's, there's going to be very few other races around other than halflings, gnomes, and dwarves. Even tieflings, to a certain extent, are going to have some issues. The enemy forces that the humans have battled have made extensive uses of undead and demons.
Dirty red elves.
Could never trust a fucking tiefling. I mean, it's in the name. And also they look like fucking demons.
Besides that, morale as a whole is rather low everywhere. Rumors circulate that, it doesn't matter if you kill one of the leaders, one of the governors or one of the generals, within a day or two, they usually appear to be back without any issue, regardless of what you do. So
yeah, I wonder why.
So that's a pretty major issue as well. The Nightly Orders have been having a really hard time on the borders, trying to keep the route into Cormr locked down. There are frequent clashes and skirmishes with elf infiltration teams. There is a order of rangers subservient to the crown specifically, that is essentially and druids hunting through the forest areas and the mountainous regions around Cormr, trying to keep it free from elvish incursion. So there's quite a bit going on in the area. If you guys want to know anything specific, let's just pick my brain, because I've got about 1 million notes and I didn't organize them too well. I apologize.
Where would be the nearest dwarf hold?
Nearest dwarf hold? I actually do have a note of that. Let me find it quickly. Just make a big map quickly. The nearest dwarf hold, there are actually three. Sorry, I lie. That are relatively close. No, 4 to Cormr. There is one in the Giants Run Mountains, which is not strictly speaking in Cormr, but anyway, which is to the south of Cormr itself. There is a smaller dwarf hold in the Thunder Peaks, and they are providing the majority of the steel and weapons and things that are getting manufactured for the humans in the war effort. That's getting purchased from them in return for food and the like.
Where was that? Thunder Peaks?
Thunder Peaks, next to the Hulk Forest. There's also a very large dwarven hold in the Stormhorns. Although the dwarves there tend to be very xenophobic, as a rule, and quite backwards. So there's not much in the way of trade with the humans. The dwarves there are aware of what the elves are doing, and pretty much, if an elf finds himself up that mountainside, there's a pretty good chance he's going to be chopped off at fucking knees and murdered by a bunch of pointy-eared bastards, you know, getting ambushed by really angry short people with axes. They tend to leave the humans alone. The humans tend to not go into the mountains if they can avoid it. They stick to there's a pass through the mountains with a trade route that has been there for a couple of centuries. The dwarves have kind of gotten used to.
Is it that pass there between Minro and Skull Crag?
It is the one that goes right under the name the Stormhorn.
Okay.
So that's,
All right.
is that even a
That's
pass?
okay,
'Cause
well,
that just goes around next to the river.
It is.
Because there's also like this windy road like through
hold
it.
on.
Like
Let me just open up the bigger map quickly. Sorry, I have a lot of tabs open at the moment. It is the one that goes from. Where
I
is
just want to
it?
say I read this place down here, Elversalt. When I first looked at the map, I thought it was Everslut. Where are you from, Everslut?
Yeah, that would be good. Yes, there's a path coming in from Yellow Snake, which goes from Skullwatch and Skullwatch Gorge. You're right, Liddy. Going in there, that you can go through. And then there's also a barge. What would you call it? Barge route? Poling route?
Yeah.
Basically, people pole goods along the Far Sea Swamp, down past Baloran's Rest, the Bridge of Fallen Men, towards the Dragonmere, which is where Cizail, the capital, is based.
Okay.
So that's another route that people use to send goods along. They basically pole it on big barges because the river there is very sluggish. It's very wide in places. It's not very deep, and basically just pole to get there.
Okay, cool.
Any particular reason you ask about the dwarf hold, Zippo?
Oh, in the past half an hour, I had an idea for a character that is enhanced.
oh,
Okay.
sure.
What is his name? What is his name?
Well, I don't know yet.
Okay.
France?
Anything else you gentlemen want to know?
What are the mercenary companies? Do you have the names of the mercenary groups currently?
Let me just open them up quickly.
Cormr?
Yeah, let me just quickly open up. Open up. Okay. As far as mercenaries go, I don't have specific mercenary groups. So if you want to make one up, or have one be available in the region, or that kind of thing, that's fine. There are definitely groups of human mercenaries. The main thing that Cormr is famous for is the Purple Dragons.
Yeah.
They are... they're basically considered to be probably the most powerful standing army, or they were considered to be the most powerful standing army amongst all the different city-states and realms on this continent. They have quite a different range of people, ranging from young nobles to farmers and everything in between. The army itself is well disciplined, and the rank is not bound to birth. So it's very much a meritocracy. Whoever does the best can raise the highest in the military forces.
Yeah.
Also, nobles of Cormr are expected to take the oath as well to join this force, and generally because of the militarized nation of Cormr and the fact that duty is kind of like drilled into nobles from birth, they, generally speaking, the leadership is, however, composed of a large part of the nobility due to the better trained, so on, that they're available to them.
Okay, no, that's cool. I just wanted to find out because I sort of came up with the idea of the character that I'm pulling together, sort of being actually an officer in a mercenary group / military order, sort of thing.
It's very possible. Most of the mercenary companies in Cormr use the same rank system as the Purple Dragons. So if you're a just basic footman or knight, or whatever you want to call it, soldier, you start off as a blade. The sergeant rank equivalent would be something like a tell sword. Captain would be something like a fur sword. Company commander would be something like a sword captain, and then so on. It goes up from there. So if you're with your character's current level, if you're a mercenary, you would either have been a blade or tell sword, most likely. Would be one of those two ranks. Blade, like I said, being the very basic, and then tell sword being, a little bit higher rank than that. Basically like a sergeant. You had a platoon of men under you.
Okay, no, that actually works pretty well. Ties in quite nicely with what I'm working on here.
Right. What about you, Dylan? What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna be an arcane trickster though. That sounds like fun, but I'm not sure about the race. I was planning on maybe an elf, but
you can play an elf.
Yeah.
You're a rogue. You come pre-equipped with a hood. They'll never know.
Yeah,
Also
but they
an
like
arcane
search
trickster,
everyone in towns, you know.
Well, they don't search everybody. It's just they can search you without.
And like they can search your stuff.
Oh
but
no,
it's not
he's
like
gonna
they're
get
gonna frisk you.
he's gonna get profiled.
Well, also the problem is like, why would you guys be hanging out with an elf?
Well, I've actually got I was actually looking at that with regards to my character that I'm pulling together. Is the sort of background I had for this was sort of like mercenary soldier, and this particular mercenary company is sort of, they tend to wind up being given the assignments or the jobs that nobody else wants to do. So
The Black Company.
was sort of like a lot of the wet work, the stuff that would, like for example on the Purple Dragons, would be a stain on their honor in air quotes or something like that. They wind up doing the jobs that it's like the really crap, ugly stuff. And as a result of having to do this kind of work, they tend to not be quite so picky about who they work with, and they will take whatever help they can get. They sort of the sort of, because of the stuff that they've had done and seen being done by whoever they're
Both
fighting
sides.
at the time. On both sides of it has left pretty much everybody in the company sort of like very much with a meh attitude to
Disillusion.
concepts of like nobility and honor and the stereotypical good v evil kind of thing. They have a job to do. They look after their own, and they judge on individual merit rather than general stereotype.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, my original idea for my character, like that actually fits well with my original idea, which was like, he's an elf who was like basically a merchant, but he was like, he had a bunch of other people, because obviously, merchants, packs, and they were all killed, and he was only spared because he was an elf, and he was very cowardly, he ran away, and now he's just trying to find his courage.
That could actually work pretty well, because like with a lot of what I've been like thinking of, everything was mostly along the lines of winding up having to do all the jobs that nobody else wants to do, and because of not being so picky about the people that they work with, being willing to take those in who would join the company for whatever reason.
Sure, that sounds like a good idea. We could both be part of that mercenary company.
Yeah.
You could easily be something like a quartermaster or something there, now that you've lost your merchant.
That could actually work quite nicely, because like one of the things that I was thinking of for this thing was, and it also ties in with a lot of the backstory, is my character was given a small platoon of soldiers under his command, and they were on guard. I hadn't worked out the details yet, but it could quite nicely work out to be they were guarding the merchant caravan, and they were almost slaughtered to a man by, pointy-eared bastards. And
That's up to you guys.
he was left for dead, which is why he's still here. And as part of this particular mercenary company's tenets is basically something like that happens, they will go out. The whole company will go out of their way to get their own back. They're very petty in that regard.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good to me.
So basically, you guys regarding Dylan's everybody got slaughtered, including you, except for Dylan. Dylan basically saved
Well,
you, and then you in turn saved Dylan.
They left me for dead. So
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, you got wrecked, Dylan got spared, Dylan helped you get back to civilization, and in return, company took Dylan in.
Yeah, and he is considered one of us. The company, the commanding officers do travel back and forth to the bigger cities, obviously, for their stuff. And it is sort of, what I was picturing is it's sort of accepted by the, more public-facing groups, the ones that are pretty and shiny and stuff, that it is understood and accepted that this group does have slightly less than the, pretty shiny than that everybody else does, but they are also the guys that you can give them a job to do, regardless of how unsavory it might be, and they will see it through.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I like
And
it.
then,
Between the two of you
Yeah,
guys
just
can come
as
up
a-
with a cool company name and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
cool. No,
There are, like I say, there have been a lot of events in Cormr over the last couple of years. Like I say, between the Black Dragons and the Goblin War and all that kind of stuff, your company would have definitely had plenty of work to keep it
Some orc attacks.
busy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another dumb question from my side. What is the name of that ranger company that's floating around? You said they're floating around the Stormhorns, I think?
Let me pull up quickly. While I'm looking for that quickly, Liddy, is there anything you were thinking of character-wise?
He's still probably gonna be the king of the Wiggler.
King of the Wigglers.
Oh,
Yep.
does that mean you're going to be from that weird inbred dwarf hold
Maybe, maybe not.
where they're all yokels?
They're just called the Border Watch. They don't have a specific.
Okay.
They started off as a impromptu, informal group of people, basically woodsmen and the like, who live near the border that suffered various atrocities and decided that they were going to make anything pointy-eared sprout several feet of wood whenever it fucking came in the area. Eventually, one of the local nobles, hearing about these patriots, I'm using words, decided to go up there, have a talk to them, formalize them, set up training garrisons and things like that nature for them to take in more people. Local druids also got brought in to help assist. And now they've got a force about 150 men strong, who routinely basically kill anything that moves that's got two legs and pointy.
Okay. No, I was again just asking because part of the backstory, and also just helps me fill out sort of some of the ideas behind
by all means.
where this mercenary group draws its
Well, I very much imagine if you guys are the ones getting the dirty jobs and you are.
I sort of originally thought of it as like a dirty dozen kind of thing, or like a
I'd imagine you
like
probably
the
get.
last chances for the 40k guys.
But
I sort of also picked it as they are they are a company or splinter company of one of the larger groups.
Well, I'd imagine you guys don't
they
have a
just end up
problem with
getting-
recruitment, right? Because with all the refugees flooding in, there are going to be amongst them soldiers and guards and things as well.
Yeah. No, there's no issues with recruitment. What I was sort of thinking behind this thing was the group tends to not be so picky about the people that they admit into the group, but they do have their own internal code that they sort of stand to sink or swim to a point, but also more along the lines of there are certain characteristics that or certain traits that they expect anybody and everybody within the group to stick to. Like, for example, like I said, the getting their own back on others is because of what they've seen and what they've had to do.
They're somewhat
in
clannish.
particular, they tend to be very close knit, so if anything happens to one of them, everybody will suddenly want to get involved, and they take the loss of any of their members. They tend to take it very seriously because it's never going to be something that other people would consider glorious or anything. So somebody has to remember and honor them.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
A nice family.
Yeah, very nice dysfunctional
So
family
Mm-hmm.
of bloodthirsty
So you're
psychotic.
thinking human fighter, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright. And Dylan, you're thinking elf rogue.
Yep, arcane trickster.
Okay, and trickster. And Lady, you're thinking dwarf druid.
Yes.
All right. And then Hippo, what are you thinking at the moment? And Lady, why is your dwarf decided to or A, is your dwarf from one of the local mountain holds? If not,
Nope. He's a fucking wandering
He's
hobo.
a tourist.
why are all your characters always hobos?
Well, he doesn't specifically need to be a hobo, but yes, he is a traveler.
Maybe he just likes the lifestyle.
Okay, what is his reason for traveling?
Yeah, wanderlust.
I mean, I guess.
He's called King of the Wigglers. Sanity is not included.
Ah,
Or he calls himself that.
okay. That's going to be an interesting one. And then Hippo, what were you thinking?
Dwarf Artificer.
Dwarf Artificer. Oh, the new Artificer rules out yet.
No, but I'll use the current ones until then,
Okay.
and hope that the new ones aren't terrible.
All right. So we'll have a rogue, we'll have a fighter, we'll have a druid, and we'll artificer. And will you be from one of the local dwarf holds?
Yes, he'll be from the Thunder Peaks, and he'll, because of all the shit that's been going on, with everything. This area seems fucked.
It is.
But
Yeah.
the dwarfs figured it was probably safer instead of transporting like weapons and shit via caravan from the dwarf hold. They'll just transport components and set up a shop somewhere, and I'll be making guns and other
Oh
stuff.
lord.
Yeah, it's real bad
Okay.
here. Dragon
It's real
attacks,
bad.
3 usurpers, orc attacks.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cormr got fucking hammered, and that's before the spell plague. Like, shame.
but yeah,
Okay.
safer to
properly.
build guns here than it is to risk guns getting into the hands of anyone that raids a caravan.
All right. Largest city is Fizale, capital on the border of the lake. 2 second largest cities are Marsimbar and Ergol, both with a population of about 30,000.
Okay.
What would be the military capital?
The seat of power / military capital of the empire is the actual capital itself.
Alright, I'm
And
there.
okay. That's not a problem. But yes, that is Cizale, is the capital. Cizale is a little bit far away from the Thunder Peak, so it's going to be... You've got 2 ways to get down there, Hippo. You can either travel down through the Hulk Forest towards the Sunset Hills, and then take a caravan trail towards Cizale. Or alternatively, again, you can float them down with a raft from the Thunder Peaks through the Viven water, down all the way past Beamer's Rock to Cizale itself, yeah. Raft.
What is the most common and consistent method of transporting goods from the Thunder Peaks?
The waterways are used fairly heavily. Cormr itself used to be called the forest land, or the forest country, but due to extremely heavy logging, it'll just live for the 3 small woods that are still there.
Alright, yeah,
Um,
he'd have got there
that-
on a supply train. Raft.
yeah. So
Boat.
basically, yeah, rafts are used extensively because of said logging industry. Because, a lot easier just to float them down the river than it is to fucking haul that
Yeah,
shit around.
I mean, that's the most common way of doing it before, trucks and shit.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably going to be your safest way. Anything else?
Okay, this is more for Dylan. Where would we most likely find ourselves? Given that, if you look at looking at the larger map, everything, I suppose most of the action would be to the west, sort of the Tunlands, Malouin's Rest, Fort Helm, maybe possibly Aris, thereabouts.
Yes, most of the officially Cormyr's
Trying to find
borders kind of end by the Far Sea Swamp. It's kind of like
Okay.
this river kind of delineates the border, so if you want to call it that, of the
Okay.
country. But this is everything on this side of the border is pretty much gone. You know, like there's really not much left
Yeah.
here for civilization, other than a couple of roaming barbarian tribes and various abhumans and non-human races.
Would
Nobody's really around to dispute.
No, I'm trying to think, because basically we would basically be somewhere there in the west somewhere doing everything.
Yeah,
So
if you're
maybe
not
like
on
the
duty,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
guys would probably be at one of the bigger cities, like Valorant's Rest, Zale,
would you
or alternatively.
would you be like near the front line, or would you be like the Dragon Knight? So like, yo,
No,
we
we'd
got
be,
this. Cleaning up all this other shit that we ain't got time to deal with.
It's basically that we'd be sort of like in there, and they would sort of like cleaning up the shit where they're going, okay, we need somebody to go in and
Well, look, the
go and do
orcs.
something nasty somewhere in some city here and butcher some, old
Well-
woman's child or something if we had to, kind of
The
thing.
Stonelands are where large tribes of orcs came from and wrecked Cormyr a couple of times. And there's
Okay.
still frequent skirmishes going on with.
And so potentially the north
Stonelands.
might actually it might actually make sense for us to be in
And
the
then-
north, somewhere in like Griffin Hill or
Yeah, I guess it depends if
Crotch.
we want to be killing orcs or
Or-
elves.
Or on the
Yeah.
eastern side, the Dales, which you can't see on this map, unfortunately, but you can see on the bigger map. The Dale lands, are also essentially occupied, right, by Cormyr for the last couple of years. So there's also various little fires that have to be put out there from time to time, burning rebellious villages or making sure ties get to be.
Okay.
And then, of
No,
course, Cormanthor, next to the Dales, is still the original elvish home country, if you want to call it that. That's where elves essentially evolved, for lack of a better. That's where they flourished, learned their technology and their magic and all that kind of thing. So there's also obviously some discontent coming from that side, because they've received a whole bunch of elvish refugees as well from people that used to live in the Dales and in Cormyr itself. So there's also frequent border skirmishes with the elves on that side. So essentially, Cormyr is hemmed in with elves in the east, orcs in the north, and then elves on the west side as well.
Okay. 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 Well, purely as a meta question, your campaign is going mostly in which direction?
No
Does it
set
just make
direction.
sense?
Entirely up to
Okay.
what you guys are going to pick.
Okay. Well,
I just have all the places, they're all there, and in whichever sandbox you guys decide you want to play in is going to be up to you. If you guys are going to want to play in the cities, if you want to play in Sazale, or you want to play in Arabelle or Marsembar, that's going to be more, I don't want to say exactly political, but that's going to be more intrigue and that kind of stuff rather than fighting, because that's where your different nobles are based and the knightly orders and all that
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's going to be very much a law and order, not so much a stab on the street kind of deal. So if you guys want to do a lot of that, you're probably going to want to cluster around the bigger cities. If you guys want more fighting and skirmishing, that kind of campaign, basically the further you get away from the interior, the more that's going to be what you're going to do. Or alternatively, like I say, if you guys do register or decide to work as adventurers, it is something that you can do as long as you're registered with the adventurers. If you have a charter,
Dragon Knight. Yeah.
yeah, if you have a charter from the crown or from one of the local nobles, you can work as adventurers. There is a lot of adventuring work available. It's predominantly things like raiding
And
old
killing
tombs and the like, and getting artifacts, and especially raiding across the border to the east towards Myth Dranor, the Elven city's ruins, because it is just rife with magical artifacts. Like the cataclysm that destroyed the city wiped out the people, but left a lot of their equipment intact, and there is at the moment obviously a huge need for magic swords, armor, and that kind of thing.
Sorry, what was the name of that city? Mordheim?
Mythganor.
Close
It's the
enough.
one that Mordheim is based on, actually. It's the one G-Dub stole.
G-dubs don't steal anything. 100% original content.
We swear. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking for my character as also like originally he might have been like just a wanderer, like that's kind of his thing, just wandering around, going from place to place. While he didn't settle down in this area, he came here early on, and with all of the chaos happening, he like kind of acted as a freelance. If people like asked for help, he was like, "Yeah, sure, why the fuck not?"
Do you want him to be affiliated with the Border Patrol? Be one of the druids that help train them, or
Yeah, something like maybe not like directly be a part of them, but maybe more of a
consultant?
consultant. Yeah.
Well, that actually also ties in nicely with giving an opportunity to meet myself and Dylan.
Yeah.
Being there in that part there, and then maybe just wind up being seconded to wherever we need to go for wherever the campaign takes place, and then he can just tag along for whatever reason. Maybe somebody's got something wiggly that he wants. I don't know.
Wiggle, wiggle,
Wiggle.
wiggle, wiggle. All right. Anything else you can think of?
Do the purple dragon knights dislike elves too?
It's gonna depend on an individual basis, obviously.
Okay,
They're
so
not
it's not like a mission statement like no elves, though.
Well, kind of. It's more a fact of they're at war with elves, right? It's not that they originally were mandated kill all pointy ears or anything like that. It's just a case of they're literally at war with them in a particular case. It's like asking somebody, "Hey, do you hate Germans?" Like in the world, if you're an ally fighting the Axis,
Sure.
World War.
I didn't know if it was like ordered by the main, like the leader that's like kill all the elves or something,
Let's say that most nobles turned a blind eye to a lot of the lynchings and houses being burnt down and murders when it started getting out of hand. Only stepping in to restore order when things really started to break down.
Okay.
So it's more a case of them turning a blind eye because they don't want any elves in the country, but it's also not like they were like, "Yeah, go kill all the elves."
Okay, I got it.
Okay, what is that? What about you, Hypo?
Sorry, I'm just messaging you some of
see.
the backstory stuff I came up with.
Do you need the name of the elves again, Eric?
Yeah.
You don't have to call them just elven terrorist.
No, I had it in there because I couldn't find my notes with the stuff in for the groups and stuff. And this was just the original. I was just like with the changes with the change not having Dylan's character in there and stuff.
Hello.
This was just what I'd come up with. I've actually the character sheets on Drive as well if you want to have a look at everything already. I'd spent the last couple of days just messing around and.
Have you guys all got character sheets yet, or must we make some quickly? Let me have a look.
Yeah, I'll make.
You make
Do
some
we have
quickly,
the subscription back on D&D Beyond?
Oh,
Okay.
unfortunately.
I'm gonna need to make one on that Google sheet then, I guess.
Okay. Hippo, will you make a folder and some
Yeah.
sheets for me quickly, please? Thank you. Okay, so let's see, what else? Okay, so we need to obviously roll up some stats for everybody. And what else do we need to do? Obviously, you guys are welcome to chat about what you want to do and how you want to integrate your backstory and all
We
that good
must
stuff.
create it in total silence.
No. I mean more like after the session. You guys want to message each other in between to hammer out details. What? Oh. So, campaign-wise, let's see. What would you guys know? Okay, so what would you guys know? You know the following thing. There are never any humans seen among the enemy forces, except, they're busy getting executed or otherwise maimed or made a point of in some fashion, except for mages, tattoos, numbers. You guys know these guys well. They usually get left behind to act as stewards, governors, or in some cases, captains or generals of forces that occupy a region. Obviously, from your previous characters, you know who these mages are, right? Lads with the tattooed numbers.
Yep.
Clone Boys.
Clone Boys. The elves have shown battlefield tactic-wise, besides your usual Elfie McElfingtons making heavy use of magic and archery, they also have heavy cavalry, a propensity for ice magic specifically, and make heavy use of undead as well as demons. They tend to use demons as cannon fodder / shock troops, which combined with a cavalry charge, massive amounts of magic and arrows tend to just be a bad time all around for anybody that tries to do a stand-up fight against them.
I moved one of each of the character sheets depending on which one people want to use.
Groovy.
Let's have a copy.
I'll make a copy for everybody, it's fine. Somebody else made a copy as well.
Yeah, I made one for me.
What else? What else did you guys want to know?
In the capital, with the bustling trade from the dwarves, would there be some kind of dwarven enclave?
Yes. There's not an enclave per se, but the Burgermeister, whatever you want to call him. Who's making what? Okay, I see. Somebody's making... Okay, somebody busy making more things there. I'm very confused.
Copy.
Yeah, I see that. I'm just waiting for everyone to be finished to make mine.
Okay, just everybody get out. Okay, let's just do this. We'll just go... This one is Dylan.
Oh, thank you.
This one is Eric.
I've renamed one of each to do not
Or Eric,
use.
you can put your throw your sheet into that folder if you like. If you don't want to use that one. And we'll just name this one Letty. Letty, you want to use character forge, eh?
Um,
Huh?
yeah, sure.
God damn it. Okay. There we go. There's sheets for everybody. Anyway. There's a dwarven... I hesitate to call it an enclave, because it's not even really an enclave per se. It's just there's a section of the town that has been set aside. There are some larger stone structures that have been set aside for the dwarves. It's not really like a specific enclave or anything. It's more like...
I was gonna say ghetto, but that would be the wrong.
No, it's much nicer than a ghetto.
Yeah.
It's just there are several large, I suppose you could just call them mansions that have been set aside for the
Ghetto
dwarves.
+1.
+1 ghettos that have been set aside for the dwarves if people do come and visit or do bring trade down with them. That have been set aside. Oh, also as far as magic goes, magic.
Oh yeah, what are we starting with?
Magic items are going to be not common at all.
Good thing
On
I can make
account-
them.
On account of war economy, most shops and things had whatever magical stocks they had seized by the state and distributed to the front line. So, as far as actual magic goes, unless you're a nobleman or somebody that's extremely wealthy or somebody that has managed to hide a magic item, of some kind, there's not going to be a lot available. Unless you guys actually, like I say, go raid somewhere like Mythranor to get some stuff. But overall, no, there will not be a lot of magic items. I do have my magic item chart in a moment that I will pull up, and then we can see exactly what every person can get. As far as actual magic goes, where's my magics? Magic to magic. Da, 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 da.
So what level are we again? Make
You
sure.
will be level 10.
All right.
Big boys.
Big boys. There you go. If you guys want to do the adventuring thing, one of the nobles that is well known for offering land and gold and so on for services rendered to her is Lady Alisair. Of the house, Alisair. Dun dun dun.
No, I don't believe you.
So she often makes use of adventurers to help aid her overstretched, military forces, both to keep the peace, in military actions, in police actions, and just in general, go do stuff. If you guys want to do that, she's not a bad bit to work for. If you guys want to do that kind of stuff. Here we go. Cormr is obviously a monarchy. The country itself is run by a council. Council itself has a ruling monarch who is a wizard. It's always a wizard, and who is also in charge of the College of War Wizards, who usually work in tandem with the Purple Dragon, provide support of magical nature during campaigns. So it's basically a council ruled by a king, who is also a wizard. As far as magic items go, let me pop open my magic item sheet. Here we go. Magic items, there we go. Right. You gentlemen may each have 2 magic items of common rarity and 1 magic item of uncommon rarity. You have acquired over your long and illustrious career.
And I also get the ones from being an artificer, yes.
Yeah, your class stuff obviously is its own thing.
Yay.
Do I get anything for being a merchant?
Does the merchant background give magic items?
No. But you said, like, if you were able to hide stuff as a merchant, pretty much. Like, it's up to you, honestly. I don't care either way.
I'd say no, because of the background instances in this case. Like, weren't you basically attacked? Like, your caravan was basically attacked, and
Yeah, they took all the supplies.
you're probably only gonna have 1 or 2 of the smaller things about your person.
Extra trinket on the trinket table.
A piece of obsidian that's always warm to the touch.
Yes!
The best kind.
I love the expanded
Yeah.
trinket table.
Trinket table.
A
Yes.
really smelly candle.
That's where Ralphie got the hornless unicorn skull that was sold to him by a very respected merchant.
I like
Totally
that
won't lie.
Totally won't lie. Can you imagine if it really was an actual unicorn skull though? Funny. Okay, who wants to roll some stats?
Yes, let's do that.
Let us roll some stateronies. Grab a notepad or a pencil or a text document or favorite.
Okay. 12 for 1.
Very nice, very nice.
Oh no. And so it begins.
Hans
no,
2.0.
It's 11, it's not terrible.
That's fine. What are you talking about?
Oh, 14.
Oh! 17.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
Ooh. Oh, 15. Still good. Not as good.
10.
Oh.
What's up?
7.
That's not bad.
Could be worse.
Damn, we've heard some pretty solid stats so far there. RN Jesus is with you. 11. No, more.
13.
13, yeah.
And what do I need?
See the other 4.
5, one more.
One more.
I got pretty
Game
okay
first.
for my stats,
Yeah.
besides 1.
12.
Not bad.
Yes, pretty good.
Okay, what did Liddy roll?
I'm still rolling. I only started just now.
Eric, you managing as well?
Yeah, I am managing. I am.
Groovy.
Me and Notepad are being good friends at.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
I just write my shit on the table.
Oh. All my stats are like +1 or above, besides 1. That's okay. I like it.
I like it.
16, 12, 14, 15, 7, 14.
It's untitled document. We'll just make this player note. Write shit here. There you go. Here's a text document for you guys as well in that folder. For you guys to make notes about names and such. You can always
Ooh,
collaborate it.
I should consult my big list of names, shouldn't I?
Oh dear.
On my Google Drive.
Oh no.
There's some great names in there.
Oh no.
That is not bad at all. Do you want me to write the?
Oh, you don't have to write them down as long as you know what they are, because we can get your.
Oh, okay.
Anybody? Okay.
Okay.
Once everybody's finished rolling, anybody got very particularly bad like stat array?
No.
Nope.
No, the dice actually.
Anybody with
Okay.
multiple below 10s?
I got 1.
I got nothing below 10. I'm
I
good.
got 2 below 10.
Okay, you can do one of them as a reroll if you want, Liddy.
Well, I think I'm fine. Got a 9, 13, 8, 12, 17, and
It's up to you, man. Main. Cool. All right.
Every time I look at this list, I'm drawn, because it's spelt wrong, so underlined in red, to Bobby POP.
Get out of
One day I'll use Bobby POP for something.
Get out
God,
of here.
Ignatius Chumbo is also really good. Robo Tamoli.
Get out. Okay. So let's quickly do the uncommon magic items,
Oh,
and
God,
then we'll
yeah.
do the
Oh, I gotta look that up.
common magic
Oh,
items,
I got,
uncommon magic items.
It's,
Okay, in common.
Thingy has a
What's
list.
Here, just use
Donjon,
Donjon.
yeah.
Probably there's a link for you, fuckers.
Thank you, thank you.
Right,
What?
so 2 common items and 1 uncommon item. Is the rare tea.
Oh no. Oh no, it's fine. No, I've just realised that I remember there's a limit on how many things you can be attuned to.
Ah, but you increase that as an artificer.
But yeah, I'm only get up to 4 though.
Oh no.
At level 15, I get 5. But
I don't know what the problem.
yeah, not all magic items need attunement, so that's fine.
You get +2 with each ability score improvement, right?
Yes, unless you take a feat.
+2,
In which case,
2 +1s, or a feat.
Okay.
and some feats provide a +1 as well.
I'm gonna take 2 healing potions as my common now.
Healing potions are actually in short supply.
Oh no.
Military was like, give me all your potions.
I'm not sure why that thing goes red, but I'm not sure if... I'm sure... Also, I'm not sure how I was able to do this.
What have you done?
I have... That can't be correct. Why do I have +20 in 2 score? Oh, because if I rolled a 17 to
You're playing
16.
dwarf.
You're playing a dwarf, yeah? So you get like +1 wisdom, +2 con, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I forgot about that shit.
So yeah, I put +2 to my wisdom and +2 to my constitution, so I have a 20 in both. My ability score improvement.
Oh, yeah. Sense? Makes complete sense. If you're a druid, Liddy, advantage on the feat that gives you advantage on concentration checks is also pretty useful.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, but you're not a wild shape druid.
Yeah. yeah, no. The other thing.
You're a wiggle man.
Yep. So I'm gonna go with the +20 constitution just because it's fucking hilarious.
That's amazing.
So many tabs open, and my book.
Cry me a river. Do you know how many fucking tabs I have? I have 3 Firefoxes open at the moment, each with like 30 plus tabs on like each screen.
That's quite a lot.
I can't even see Tabletop Sim at this moment. And then we also need to find a picture for you lads,
I got a picture
so
of
we
my
can
guy.
make some token ones. But that we can do later. That's not a train smash.
Bam!
Oh, look at that unit.
Damn. The dwarfy boy.
He even looks as if he's wearing my robe of useful things.
Oh dear. Oh no. So what common magic items are you taking, Dylan?
Not yet sure yet. Trying to look them up. I'm looking at Hat of Wizardry right now, but I don't even know.
That's a wondrous
Where to
item,
find it.
unfortunately.
Oh, you can't take wondrous common items.
Nope.
All right, never mind.
It's wondrous.
I
Yeah,
didn't
it's just
know
gonna be
there
the-
was a difference.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Sorry, I was unclear.
Okay,
Common
so
items
no
would be
one-
things like armor, potions, scrolls, staves, wands, weapons.
Okay, cool. So I've got my uncommon now for. Yeah, I've gone with with adamantine armor.
Always nice.
Well, I
I was
just
actually
figure it's
looking
like
at, Heavy Armor Master is actually a better feat than it looks. I was like looking at it the other day. Because if you look at monster scaling, most higher challenge rating monsters actually scale most of the damage for multi-attacks. So even though like Heavy Armor Master doesn't actually give you a lot of damage reduction per individual hit, the fact that you're reducing multiple hits every single time
It
from every
makes
attack
up
cycle
for
is
it.
actually better. Yeah, it's
Imagine
not bad.
having that and also having like the resistance to physical.
And adamantine armor on top of that.
Yeah, no crits.
You'd just be like, lol, fuck you.
what is a moon-touched sword? Because there's no description for
A
it.
very long sword. If you can't
So
find it,
very-
just search Google for it, because Don John only shows stuff that's in the SRD. Or, what's it called?
It's in Xanathar's is what it's in. It is in Xanathar. I will read you the description.
Hold on. There you
This
go.
is
Look at that.
a common.
Oh, there we go.
More people need to
Fucking
remember how
bots.
to use this fucking bot.
I would love
Oh.
to.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's exclamation mark item and then triangle bracket things type item name. And they'll give
In
you a list.
darkness, this unsheathed blade
Okay.
sheds moonlight, creating a bright light in a 15-foot radius and dim light for an additional 15 feet.
Okay, that's weird because if you do a Google for it, it comes back with like something else.
Yeah, bear in mind, Google often finds
You know, that just makes sense.
homebrew stuff.
Yeah, Google also just like shows the results from the D&D wiki.
Which is not to be trusted.
Never go there.
It's a silly place.
It's a silly place full of broken assume.
Right. I'm a dwarf.
Ah, that's a pretty cool item. Unbreakable arrow.
Yeah, but you gotta run and get it every time.
Yeah, but you're gonna get a couple.
I've shot an arrow. Hold on, guys. I've got to spend my next turn collecting my arrow.
It does say... oh.
Right, Constitution.
You only get
by
one
2.
though, right? Or 2 max.
Yeah. Don't worry about ammunition. In general, I'm going to assume, just for the sake of the fact that you guys are level 10 at this point and procuring arrows, unless it's going to be a story situation where you're under siege and supplies are running low or something like that, that generally speaking, you will have enough arrows. Because I'm just going to assume if your character can use a bow, that when you guys are camping or in between fights or taking a short rest or whatever, that you can generally either make arrows yourself or replenish from a bag of holding or whatever. Like, you will have arrows available. You don't have to stress about arrows.
Okay.
Because I think it's a little bit silly that people need to go about like, okay, we fought those guys, let me go try and
50%.
roll for every arrow and see if I can pull it out of the corp. It's just not, not even worry about it.
That sword's pretty cool. It's just like a torch sword.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
pretty
it's
neat.
pretty much what I'm gonna be going.
Pretty useful. Don't need to carry a torch. Ah, the armor that you can put on like almost instantly.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
now that
the
I think
cast
about
of,
it, I'm gonna be a
That's-
rogue, so it really doesn't matter because light armor.
I suppose.
Holy shit, that's a good
No,
feat.
no, I'm sticking with the adamantine stuff. I like the idea of, oh look, it's a critical hit. No, it's not.
Yeah, that's dope.
I like this feat.
Yeah.
Dwarven
Which one?
Fortitude.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever
That's
you
pretty
take the
silly.
dodge action in combat, you can spend 1 hit die to heal yourself.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
It's dwarf only, bitch.
Oh, I like the squad nimbleness. That's always
That's
fun.
also, yeah, I was
Just
looking at that one as well.
Acrobatic dwarf.
Surprisingly flexible for their little bodies.
I might.
Yeah, I like the Tiefling feats a hell of a lot as well. I think Infernal Constitution is really cool.
Dragonborn's got some cool one too. Like the
Yeah.
just basically just mage armor.
I like the Infernal Constitution because it's like +1 con, which is always nice. Resistance to cold damage and poison damage, and advantage on saving throws against being poisoned.
Oh yeah, that's real good.
Like, okay, that's
Any
pretty
resistance
nice.
is huge.
Yeah, it's like 2 resistances.
Yeah, and you get 2.
Yeah, poison and cold. And advantage on saves against poison.
Would we be able to start with slightly better armor than what's listed?
Define slightly better. Oh, sorry, shit, I need to pull up gold for you guys quickly. Hold on. On my
And
gold.
Also that.
I
I make a fine living fixing shit.
Okay. Here we go. There we go. Page 38 of the DMG says we should give you how much gold? A little bit. I had page numbers. I swear this year when I've got some cash, I'm going to buy myself a set of books. Actual physical fucking books.
Man, these common items kind of suck.
Some of them are really good. You just gotta find the really good ones.
Yeah. There's
Also,
only like 10 though, right? That we can pick from, because we can't pick any of the wondrous ones.
That's right. Wondrous items. All the wondrous shit's been taken by the state. They're like, oh yeah, this is gonna help a lot from getting you all not murdered by genocidal, elf people. Okay, everybody, roll a d10 for me, please. Hey, be happy I'm being super generous. The DMG recommends for level 10 characters to get one uncommon item and normal starting equipment at your level.
Well, we rolling 1 to 10.
1 to 10, everybody.
I got a 1.
I got a 9.
4.
I'm hoping
Okay.
that that's
6.
Okay, you take your d10 that you rolled, and you multiply that with 25,
Easy.
and then you add 500 to it, and that's how much you have.
Alright, 525 for me.
So their roll number plus 20 times 25 plus 500.
That's it.
Wow, 600 gold.
Hey man, like I say, poor country at the moment. Unfortunately, like I said, this is kind of going to be the opposite. Before, you guys were in a prosperous city working for an extremely wealthy gangster with easy access to everything trade and magic brings. Now you're in a country that's on the verge of, being destroyed. They're not going to allow you to just go around toting like fucking piles of money and tons of wondrous items, unfortunately, no matter how badass you are. Unless you're the nobility. So if you guys want to get bling, you're going to have to become a noble.
Yeah, let me just become a noble real quick. As
Yeah,
my
like I
elf.
say, the best way or the easiest way to get landed as adventurers is to, like I said, to work for Lady Eliseo. That is probably the best way. You're probably not going to get an entire province immediately, but it might give you like a couple of acres and a manor and a couple of servants type deal. Also, ones are like common items. Ones are amazing.
Yeah, there's 4 wands we can pick from.
Yeah, I've got my stuff, my adamantine armor, a moon touch sword, and a potion of healing.
I like that shield. It's just a big, like, why?
Oh, it's +2 AC, man.
Oh, a shield, you say?
Shield, man. Shield.
Can we still buy, like, normal common equipment with our gold? Like, different armors that are not +1? Or, like,
Yeah.
a different way?
It shouldn't be a problem. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
No, just asking. Not right now, at least.
Yeah, shouldn't be a problem. Gonna buy it.
Probably buy a rapier, now that I think about it.
Yeah, just assume you. If it's not magical rapier, we could just assume you have one.
Okay.
That is not a problem. Okay, anything else that we need to hammer out? Oh, you guys need to decide how you all got together as well. That's the other thing. And
No,
then you
we've
guys
got-
also need to decide what you want to do first. Where do you guys want to go? What do you want to do? Want to go spelunking? Want to go around town? Those ones are actually used a lot.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool. It seems like a good distraction kind of item.
Yeah, the guys actually use it to signal each other. There's like a keep and another keep, you know, like a couple of kilometers away. They can use that to signal. They normally have watchmen on the walls.
Okay, well, I have done everything on my sheet. One perk of fighter is way easier than the everybody else.
How many feats did you pick? Did you just go for stat boost, or did you pick up some feats as well for your fighting?
No. I went with feats. I went with 4th level. I went weapon master. 6th level. I went dual wielder, and 8th level. I went great weapon master.
Are you a variant human?
Sorry,
Are you a variant human?
normal human. Nothing.
Oh, I was gonna say you get like another feat, all the feats.
No, if you go into the sub race for human, there's nothing there. So
There's a sub race in is it Xanathar's? No.
no, I'm happy with the
Sword
thing. 'Cause
Curse?
remember,
No, for the only
the way I've worked this out is I'm going. I've taken 8 levels of fighter and 2 levels of ranger.
And remember to move your
that's
character sheet to the folder, eh?
Sorry.
Remember to put your character sheet in the folder with the.
Yeah, no. You'll see it as there. It's a copy of
Okay.
Silas for level 10.
Yeah,
That's the one
only
I've been
knowing-
editing and updating the stuff on. So it's the class selection sort of reflects sort of the history I was going with. So it's actually
Oh, good.
kind of funny because
Are you gonna try and deal with great weapons?
no, great weapon I took for a reason because great weapon it's kind of a deceptive. It doesn't refer to using a two-handed weapon when you've got great weapon master as a feat. Great weapon master as a feat basically to the thing here. Here we go. It allows you to, if you score a critical hit or reduce a creature to 0 hit points, you can make an additional melee attack as a bonus action, or before making a normal attack, you can take 5 away from your attack roll to add 10 to your damage.
Sounds good.
It has to be a heavy weapon though, sadly. I was looking at that earlier.
I didn't see any mention of that in the PHP. Let me just get back there and double check. Because that was the whole thing when I was looking.
Let's have a look with the errata.
Let's see if this thing does this block work for feats.
Oh, try exclamation point feet. Maybe that'll work. I've never. used it
The
until
heavy
now.
weapon. The heavy weapon is only if you're doing the -5 to attack, but the other part of it works with anything. So yeah, on your turn. So if you score a crit with a melee weapon, or you can reduce somebody to 0 hit,
Doesn't work.
No.
that works with anything. But the -5 penalty is only with heavy weapon. I've sent help to your PMs.
Help!
Haha!
Send help.
Yeah, the first part's
Okay,
with any
yeah.
melee weapon.
The
Part
heavy
is-
weapon that you are proficient with, you can take a minus penalty to add plus 10 damage. Okay.
Yeah, the first part
But
works
the
with anything.
bit that that was the bit that I was primarily interested in was the first portion of it. The -5 penalty for the 10 damage, that was just like a meh bonus.
Yeah, a little
But
extra.
the big thing is the big reason I took it was mostly because when you score a critical hit or reduce a creature to 0 hit points with one, you can make an extra melee attack as a bonus act.
Just bear in mind, you're going to be deal wielding. You need to use your bonus attack to make your extra attack. with deal wielding.
Aha! That's where dual wielder comes in as the feat.
Okay.
On a 1, a sad chupa sound plays and the 1 crumbles to dust.
I like that.
Mwah.
Dual wielder still doesn't
No, no.
bypass that, Eric.
Where's the thing that I got to give me?
Dual wielder gives you 1 AC when you're wielding a separate melee weapon in each hand, and you can use 2 weapon fighting even with one-handed weapons you aren't wielding or light, and you can draw or stow them. Normally, you'd only be able to draw or stow 1. But 2 weapon fighting is a specific thing. So basically, you make the attack action as per normal. So let's say level 10, you've got how many attacks? Fighter 2, 3?
2 attacks as a.
Right. So you make it 2 attacks, and then you use your bonus action, and you can make another attack. That's how the 2 weapon fighting works. You're basically getting an extra attack in return for the bonus action. Also, another thing, bear in mind, is when you're rolling for hit points, you can also take the average for your hit dice, eh? So if you rolled lower than the average, you can just pick the average for your hit points. For example, I see you rolled a 1 for one of your dice rolls for your d10s.
Yeah.
So you'll see if you go to the PHB, if you go to what class were you? The fighter. So if we go to fighter, instead of a 1, you can instead have a 6 plus your Constitution modifier there.
Hey Griff,
Yo.
if I took crossbow expert, would it work with my thunder cannon?
Yes. It works with any range attack.
Also, range spells.
Also range. Yeah, works with any range attack. Range spells, range.
So that would mean I wouldn't have to reload my thunder cannon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think I'll take that then.
And you can shoot him in the face without disadvantage.
So for example, that one could go up to that 6th level. That could go up to a 6. And the 8th level could go up to a 6. And 2nd level can go up to a 6.
Griff, is this reasonable?
Okay. So sorry to interrupt. I was just after the thing with the 2 weapon fighting. I was thinking was just being able to add the ability modifier. Sorry.
It's no problem.
Griff,
Sorry, Lenny, what's that?
guess how much fucking HP I have?
200.
123.
Holy
Nice.
shit. The fuck are you?
Dwarves.
I'm a fucking tank.
He's a large boy in a little boy's body.
Absolute unit of a druid.
Remember, I have a constitution of 20. And I am a fucking healed dwarf, so every time I level up, I get 1 extra HP.
Yeah, what I'm
Actually, I'm
imagining.
not that far behind you, so that's
What?
pretty.
What I'm imagining
What are you
is
on now,
like
eh?
your dwarf.
I've got
I want to find a picture of
107
his armor.
HP.
Where is HP?
HP in the character
Character
Hero
sheet.
Forge?
Yeah.
It is.
Character sheet 1.
Yeah, it's on the start page.
There we go. I haven't
Go to
used
class details where you select what class you has, and then you have the.
God damn.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna be pretty tank boys, eh?
Well, I think both of us sort of learned the last time around. More hit points are better.
You have how many? Derek? Where's the hit points and parity?
115.
I'm drunk.
Chonk. Chonky chonk.
Like-
Jesus, look at that stat array. Oh yeah, we were humans. You get +1 to everything.
Letty.
God damn.
Letty, this is
God
what I imagine
damn.
your guy's armor looks
dice-
like as a druid.
The dice loved
All right.
me. I was freaking. I couldn't believe it.
It's just a tree.
This is the tree. I'm wearing a tree.
Eric, what belt of giant strength is? What?
That's coming off. I've already deducted it from the thing.
Couldn't you just unequip it?
Yeah, I've got it. I've still got to take it off the final character.
Okay. You're going Battlemaster. Battlemaster, you should ask Hippo about. Hippo's played it.
Yeah, that
He'll
was
be able
fucking
to
great.
help you.
Some of those maneuvers are like completely worthless. Some are incredibly good.
Well, the ones I took distracting strike, evasive footwork, parry, precision attack, and trip attack.
Trip attack is really good.
Yeah, that's the best one.
No,
My
I had a parry. I thought was like really was it's a bit of a bastard move because the description is when a creature damages you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to expend a superiority die to reduce the damage by the number you roll on your superiority die with your dex modifier.
Yeah, it's
So
good if you're a
potentially
dex
that-
fighter.
He has quite a lot of
even if,
decks.
even if you're not, even if you just have like a dex modifier of like +2 and you roll well on your superiority die, being able to negate a portion of that damage is already quite handy. And then
Eric.
precision attack.
I think
Yep.
You should consider taking heavy armor monster as a feat.
In place of?
Oh no, just in general.
I think like I'm looking at the.
Let me go and have a look at the feat.
So I think the 3 maneuvers that I used mostly on my one was trip attack, riposte, and menacing attack. Riposte.
Remember when you tripped that dragon out of the sky?
Oh, I do like that. While wearing heavy armor, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage you take from non-magical weapons. Yeah, but that's from non-magical weapons.
Yeah,
See,
most
just
things are not
because-
magical.
Yeah, but just because you haven't given us magical weapons, what are the chances that the things we are going to fight don't have
Well,
magical
Bear
weapons?
in mind, most monsters and things don't have magical attacks.
So Eric.
Yes, but pointy-eared, knife-eared elfish assassin.
They didn't have poison attacks. They just had magic attacks. They just had poison attack. It's different.
Eric, did you say you'd taken riposte?
I think you took parry.
Okay. Riposte is riposte is if something misses you, you can use your reaction to use it to riposte and make a melee attack against them and add the superiority die to the damage.
Ooh, that might be a better option than because I do want to keep evasive footwork because that's just when you move you can expend a superiority die, rolling the die and adding the number to your armor class.
You're keeping archery style for your ranger levels, eh?
Yeah, I'm keeping the archery for the ranger because I went with the 2-weapon. I took 2-weapon fighting for.
Did you get a fighter? Where's the fighter stuff? Where's the fighter fighting styles? The sheet.
It's on the first page on
Oh,
stuff.
there you go, on the far right. My monitor is small to show it, that's why. Yeah,
But
I mean,
I think the
riposte could
riposte
be
would work
pretty
better
good,
than
man.
distracting strike.
oh, you seem to be on the path to like put out as many goddamn attacks as possible in the round, so riposte makes sense.
Well, yeah, I figured, it's sort of like more bullets, only they're not bullets, they're like longer, bigger pieces of metal. The pointy end goes into the other guy.
Makes sense.
Fighter
Makes sense.
101.
I find interesting the ranger levels. Why
Well,
did you go
I just-
ranger? Because you don't have to go ranger, like, for...
No, when I was thinking of the idea behind the character, what I originally thought was he joined up with a mercenary company, fairly stereotypical, but he wanted to go and see the world. He was very naive and everything, and he joined up with them, and they shut him off too. That's why I asked about the border guard. Is he spent some time with them as part of his
That's fine.
training.
I'm just saying you don't have to. You don't have to
No,
take the ranger levels to represent that if you don't want to, eh? You can go pure fighter if you want.
I don't. Okay, well, let me ask this: what is everybody else's thoughts?
It's your character. I'm just saying, like, mechanically speaking, if you don't, if you just want it as background stuff, right? You can go pure fighter. It's no problem. But if you want, from a mechanical point, if you want some of the ranger class features, then yeah, by all means. I'm just saying you don't have to pick a ranger class just to represent that part of your backstory.
No, I like the I like the idea of actually having
your character,
having that represented as part of the character's evolution, not just
That's Perfectly fine. It's no problem. Which two humanoid races are you gonna pick for your favorite enemies?
Elves and orcs, hilariously, were what I was
Oh,
going to pick.
hell yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out where to because the sheet doesn't let you go. Okay, you can specify elves or orcs. It just goes two humanoid races.
Yeah, that's fine. Just make a note of it somewhere where you know. So you gotta remember to actually add your bonuses and things when you're fighting them. Yeah, damn, that's gonna help you a lot because it gives you advantage on tracking them. You know, wilderness survival checks and all that kind of stuff, intelligence checks to find. Oh, you also get a language from your favorite enemies, so you can pick Elvish or Orcish if you want.
I picked
As a
elves.
language. So which is pretty nice. And then yeah, Natural Explorer is just nice for your group in general because it means you guys aren't gonna have to worry about the terrain. You guys don't get lost.
If you scroll down, you'll actually see the languages I picked. The bonus languages I picked were Elvish, Orcish, and
That's all good. Yeah, actually, Ranger, I can just completely dispense with all the wilderness stuff if you have that.
yeah. I was just the only reason I took it was it's just like I felt that it was a good fit in there, and then as an added bonus, being able to take the archery stuff while keeping like all the cool stuff from the fighter that I wanted to do was just like, oh my god, that's just a bonus.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
it's
thought
right, man.
it really gelled
What
in
the-
there so nicely with it.
What range weapon are you gonna use? Are you gonna go bow, crossbow,
Just a short bow.
short bow?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, just like I said, it fits in there with it. You know, he
That's
spent some
fine.
time with them. He's been in with this stuff. A longbow is a nice thing when you've got a high castle wall and you're raining death down upon from afar. But when you're in like a wooded area, you're, for lack of a better description, try and think like an urban combat scenario. You need something a little bit smaller and easier to work.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, what Dylan was asking about earlier is there's a human subrace. It's not really a subrace. It's just a variant where instead of increasing all your attributes by 1, you only get 2, but you get an extra feat at first level. You want more feats.
Ah, okay. Well, I did take your advice. I'm gonna swap out Great Weapon Master for Heavy Armor Master.
No, you don't. Yeah, I don't have to. I was just saying that's something you might like combined with your adamantine armor.
Actually, that'll be something that I'll work for to add my next level up. Actually.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, fighter gets so many feats, so it's really it's not something you have to worry about for, in the long term.
Ah,
What do you
Like level 11. Oh, level 11, you get your third attack.
Yep.
What do you think would be
Well,
more useful? Investigation or performance?
Depends on where you guys go. That's why I was saying you guys must decide. A, how your group came together as a whole. I mean, 3 of you've got a pretty good combination so far going. But you need to tell me so I can start setting up the first couple of sessions for you guys what you want to do. Do you guys want to be fighting in a border skirmish or conflict? Do you want to go explore the ruins of Cormr? Do you want to be playing the political game in the capital? You know, like, what do you guys want? What do you want out of the campaign? You guys need to tell me.
Hulk smash, politics bad.
Okay, I have 88 blood points.
Blood
I
points?
have 88 units of blood which can be punched out before death.
Bone hurting juice?
Oh.
How many hit points you got, Dylan?
95.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
And always remember, if you load roll, you can always replace your roll with the average.
I did do it right, didn't it? It's first level and then roll 9 dice.
Yeah.
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 And then you can replace the dice that's below your class average with whatever the average is. So with the Artificer, if you rolled less than a 5,
Yeah.
you can replace it with 5.
My rolls weren't too bad. I rolled a lot of, like, half of my rolls were 6. So
Nice.
9 with my constitution.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good, could be good. Okay, so we've got one vote for politics bad. What do you want to do, Mr. Eric?
Sorry.
What do you want to do? We already ruled out politics. What else would you like to look at doing? So, like, okay, so here are some broad options as a starting jump-off point for you guys. All right, you can recover magic items from tombs, peoples, ruins, monsters, that kind of thing. Basically, as extremely glorified hunters, treasure hunters. If you guys want to do standard adventuring stuff, you can work for one of the nobles. Will probably be Lady Alisair because she's, one of the ones that actually makes heavy use of adventurers and can issue a charter if you guys want to do that kind of thing. You guys can enroll with one of the various mercenary orgs, or maybe even work with Eric's mercenary organization, or the Purple Dragons, or the local law enforcement, constabulary, however you want to do it. Fight border skirmishes, that kind of stuff. Track down, bush, all the usual malarkey. Or you guys can go to one of the larger cities. You can try and play the political game, get involved in the politics there, work your way up. Maybe see if you guys can get deeded and landed.
Well,
Or
I think wouldn't it be like in keeping with the or just fleshing up the idea, because Dylan and I are basically both members of the same merc group. Send us after a magic item. Somebody's hoarding them, and we've got to go get them back. But he's a public figure or something. So
I don't know. That's what I like. You guys can tell me what kind of campaign do you want. Lady, what does the Lord of the Wigglers want to do?
I don't know. Hang about, maybe, smack some nails up the fucking noggin.
Okay, so I'm going to put that down as one vote for border, right? Is that fine?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go to the Elvish homeland and go and desecrate their sacred ruins and steal their shit?
That's always something I can do, yes.
So fucking hell. Hippo, what would you like to do?
So my dwarf is going to have been sitting in the capital making guns for a good many years at this point, and he's itching to get out. He's going to jump at the first thing that's going to let him get out and actually shoot something.
All right.
Like every time he goes to the inn for dinner, he's going to be like constantly listening out for people talking.
Oh man, I really wish there was somebody dark and broody with a hood sitting in the corner at the back that I could totally hook up with an adventure for.
Exactly.
Oh look, there's two of them.
Oh no, one's an elf though.
Maybe, you don't know that.
Well, I noticed.
I figure our livery is sort of enough that people are aware of who we are and what we do, and they generally tend to leave us alone.
I would recommend that Dylan still wear a hood.
No,
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, there are still some things he still needs to do, but
Maybe cut his ears off.
I use my
fatten
eyes
up
of
a bit.
minute seeing to detect he's an elf.
My passive insight and perception are 19, but
Dude, mine's 25.
what? What,
Yeah.
take the alert feed or something?
Rogues,
Observant and the rogue.
Oh, observant, okay.
yes,
Rogue.
they-
Yeah, I want to
Fucking rogues.
Rogues are like, what is the skill check and why can't I fail it? Okay.
Yeah, just be careful about that. Reynard, you never had the joy of playing with Alec, our rogue who decided that he didn't need to make a reflex save to go through a blade barrier. He'll just wing it.
Oh yeah, he got turned into Junkie Salsa, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Weren't you the cleric at that point that cast said blade barrier?
I may have been, and it kept the party alive. It wasn't my fault that he thought he didn't need to do anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault. Just like it wasn't my fault we used to go, rogue fit.
Yeah.
There's a reason why halfling rogues are no longer a stereotype. It's because other party members tend to tie ropes around their waists and throw them down deep dark holes to see what's at the bottom.
Yeah.
My passive investigation's also like 24, I think.
Very
That AC.
Okay,
So tasty.
so that explains why our particular group tends to always be so well equipped compared to other mercs.
Hey, I found this thing.
He's got an eye out for a good deal.
a good deal.
You know,
Okay,
I happen to find this whole stash of +2 long swords. You know,
Yes,
and the
just
fact that
lying.
the next day there's an entire company of purple dragon knight soldiers going, "Where's my weapon?"
That fell off the
They were
back of
just
a
sitting
wagon.
over there.
Okay.
What's the point of smoldering armor?
It makes you literally dark and brooding.
Dork.
Basically, it lets you walk around going, "I'm Batman," and get away.
Okay. So, which side of the country do you boys want to start on?
Well, you said the magic find stuff tends to be in the east, so maybe we should sort of be somewhere like in that area there, maybe like Hillmarch or where's a Monk's
If you-
Blade, maybe.
Well, if you're going to go do some magic item hunting, you gents will be going to this particular area. We're heading in the east, past the Dales, to Cormr, the Elvish
Yeah.
homeland.
Oh, then yeah, we definitely be in the east of Cormr.
Yes, you're basically traveling through from Cormr through the Dales to Cormr. If you want to go do that kind of thing. Basically, trying to avoid elf border patrols. Roaming bands of rangers, roaming bands of genocidal maniacs, and essentially trying to make your way to the city of Mithranor. It's always a fun place, and to get some of those sweet, sweet magic items that you can sell for that sweet, sweet each amount of money. So, is that what you guys want to do for your first little jaunt? Get used to how everybody's character's class features work, ease into it. Sound good?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Since
Do
we
you
were
guys
cooped up
wanna-
in a city for so long last time.
Yeah. All right.
Nice
How do
to-
you guys want to do this? Do you want to travel there specifically, do some random encounters along the way, get used to how your skills and class features and things work? Or shall I drop you guys off and we literally pick up the game on location, so to speak?
I think traveling could be cool.
Yeah, I think
Do like a little bit of a travel
give us a nice way-
montage, roll a
Yeah.
couple of dice, give you
give us
guys
a chance to sort of get into the characters as well, and flesh out the stuff that needs to be fleshed out. And, if we happen to run into a semi-translucent elf who speaks with a weird accent, then
Oh, Hans. Oh, Hans. We'll also have to see if we can see how many people know about Nox. Okay, then.
is Nox still alive? Did he survive?
No, Nox died, but is a very well-known figure in the Resistance. He's basically deified.
Hey. Rest in peace, though.
He's known as the Brimstone Angel.
That's very cute.
Oh, Nox. He's always flirting with everybody. He's always flirting with all them honeys.
Hey, honey.
Pretty much.
I'm actually really happy I don't have to do that voice anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I couldn't be loud with it.
Ah. Always quiet.
Yeah.
But now you're playing an elfin wizard turned quartermaster, so many girlish screams, may.
He's a bit of a coward, yeah.
Is he going
He's
to be
trying-
German?
Who?
Is he going to be German, like Hans?
Is
No.
he going to have the same accent or a
Because the
similar?
elves from Cormr are the ones who has the accent like this.
The accent like this?
Like this.
It's like this. They speak like somebody has their testicles gripped very firmly in their eyes. And
I think it'll be more like, oh, come on, guys! This isn't a
Huh.
very good idea, is
Oh god, it's Shaggy the elf.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Shaggy. Come on, Scoops!
Here's a question for you, gents. What gods do you worship?
I have that one. Helm.
Okay. In Cormr, the following deities are widely or commonly worshipped, I should say, for the most part. Scroll your boat.
Down the street.
So many notes, like words cannot even begin to describe it. Okay. Lathander, Saloon, Ogma, Malil, Malar, Chantia, Tempest, Timora, Sylvanas, Joaquin, Elm, or Denier are the gods that are worshipped. You'll find that as far as societal trends go, the society trends strongly towards lawful, neutral good-ish. I say ish because
Oh,
they're very much a greater good kind of.
Greater good.
Oh, the current queen of the country, since her husband died, is Queen Raedra Abarskar.
So she's single, you say?
I do say.
what was that name?
Let me copy it for you. Bonk. There you go.
How old is she?
She is currently. Fuck. Now I actually have to go work out her. I know her birth date. Now I actually have to subtract it from the current date. Asking me these things. Let's see. She was born in 1460. She's currently 1486. She is 26 years old. She's currently serving a regent for her brother, who is supposed to be the king, or to be succeeded the king. His name is Barovis.
I have
And,
found my god.
She is famous for, during a siege on the capital city of Suzail, she destroyed a large wyvern that they had disguised as a black dragon, and she also fought off, or assisted in fighting off, a army of Thulfanar, which are essentially, what would you call them? It's a shadow city. It's like a shadow city that is on a different plane of existence. It was one of the floating cities of Nethril that is currently on the plane of shadow that assaulted the city a few years ago. Wow, Cormyr's really gotten fucked.
Yeah, man. When you were explaining it, I'm like, holy shit.
Every time I go through the stuff here, I'm just like, Jesus Christ. You guys got fucking wrecked. It's like amazing the fucking place is still standing. Christ.
My dwarf will worship Dugmarin Brightmantle.
Oh no.
Well, he's the dwarven god of scholarship, discovery, and invention.
Oh dear. Creative thinkers and free thinkers, eh, Yippo? What alignment's party packing at the moment? We're gonna get everybody at roughly the same direction.
Lawful neutral.
Hippo.
Something good.
Okay.
He's a dwarf after
Good.
all. There are rules to be followed.
Well, they're usually lawful more than good.
Probably either lawful good or lawful neutral.
What about you, Lenny?
Neutral.
Straight neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan, what are you packing? Oh no, Dylan died.
He did.
Okay, anything else that you guys can think of that we need to sort out before the campaign starts tonight.
I'm back.
What alignment are you
Yeah.
doing?
Neutral good.
Okay, so we mostly got a mix of neutral and some.
Yeah, we're on lawful neutral. I think we're all neutral. Filthy neutrals.
What mix?
So,
I actually watched that episode
Dylan,
today.
how long have you been with the company?
I don't know.
The current war has been going on for 23 years.
How
Okay,
long
you
into
live-
the war did the dwarves start sending supplies?
Pretty much almost immediately, because they saw there was a penny to be made. You know,
Alright,
like,
well,
hey, gold.
give it a few years of just shipping guns and shit. Yeah, my guy's gonna have been in the capital for like 20 odd years then. Just stuck
No.
there, not doing anything.
I think my character would have. He sort of like he joined the company as soon as he was able to. So he'd have been with them for like pretty much his entire adult life. So like the last 10 or 11 years or so.
How old is your character?
He's 29.
Young lad. So the war has been going
Well,
for almost as
given-
long as he's
given-
been alive.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, it's sort of like as a human, you sort of like 29, and like it's generally that is, you know, he's hitting fantasy middle age, as it were, soon.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying. So he's basically grew up with the war, so to speak.
Yeah, he grew up. The way I sort of see it is that he grew up sort of in one of the areas where he'd constantly heard about the war, but where he lived, they sort of didn't really have first-hand experience of it, and he wanted to go and do his bit for Cormr, and then, you know, a couple of years and several very bloody campaigns later, he's sort of become a little bit disillusioned with the honor and nobility in war
Does he-
after having seen.
Does he come
wholesale
from
slaughter.
a big town, small town?
Sort of medium-sized is what I was sort of picturing. You know, sort of like that kind of place where people they sort of, you hear growing up, you would have heard a lot of the older people talking about it and whispers and so on. But
Your best bet's probably going to be then up here somewhere is going to be your safest.
That's sort of where I was looking. Sort of Gars, Jundril.
General is
That kind of
probably
area.
going
I
to be
haven't-
your biggest, or biggest, but you're on the larger end.
Yeah.
It does a brisk bit of river trade. It's a bit larger. It's a little bit more fancy than just a village. You know, it's an actual
Okay.
proper like little town.
No, I'm just thinking because he's
Banks.
he's got sort of you know, he knows his way around in a larger town or city. You know, where you've got more than just a couple of thatch roof houses.
Yeah, I mean,
But he hasn't grown up in a city like Suzale or something like that. He's not a city boy. He knows his way around the fields or the forest or the woods or whatever you want to call it as well. He's sort of pretty comfortable in either or sort of situation.
What about Liddy, your dwarf man? Where was your dwarf? How old is he?
He hasn't been really been keeping track of how old he is, but he is old.
1 century.
He's an older dwarf.
Century and a half. Well, how old is he, and from where is he?
Well, I don't actually know of a lot of the. I don't really know a lot of the areas in the Forgotten
Well-
Realms, right?
Well, what kind of place is he from, and then we can help you.
What
you
kind
think-
of place?
Well, he's a hill dwarf,
I mean, yes, he's a hill
so they're
dwarf.
less likely to be from a big hold.
Yeah, that's very true.
Is he from one of the Cormr area hold, or is he from outside of the country and has kind of like wandered in and settled down for roots?
Yeah, he's one of the backgrounds. The background thing I took is far traveler, so he's probably from somewhere very far away.
All right. Let's look at. So
Oh wow,
holds.
my background has a great feature.
Mhm.
Basically, any place where there are dwarves, then the individuals in such a settlement might vie among themselves to determine who can offer you, and possibly your compatriots, the finest accommodations and assistance.
Oh dear.
You always have free
Oh,
room
yeah.
and board in any place where shield dwarves or gold dwarves dwell.
Mm.
Nice. Mine's fairly boring by comparison. But on the plus side, it does allow me to find enough work between adventures to maintain a comfortable lifestyle.
Very nice.
It's nowhere as cool as what that what the dwarven artificer gets, but
I'd say that
it's like,
background
this
stuff is normally the
mercenary.
rules.
It's
The
fluff.
mercenary background's actually pretty cool in that you can ID mercenary companies by their emblems and livery. You know a little bit about any such company, including the names and reputations of its commanders and leaders, and who has recently hired them. And perhaps most importantly, you can find the taverns and fest halls where mercenaries abide in any area as long as you speak the language.
That mercenary veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool one.
I'm just looking at the map quickly. Lady, you could be from the Cold Lands, perhaps.
Old land?
Yeah, it's fairly far away. I just want to see if I have a map that has them on it, so I can show
Alright.
you like the areas that the dwarves are all there, because there's quite a few different dwarven kingdoms. Then, like King Gareth Dragon's Bane.
Dragon's Bane.
Yeah, boy gives exactly 0 fucks.
Griff, question.
Hmm.
Pre-war, what kind of beyond humans? What kind of trade was there in Thunder Peaks?
Oh, I actually have a thing for that. Let me just open up that.
I'm gonna need all that
tab.
Thunder Peaks info.
Hold up, fam. I need to open up my tabs. Because I closed a bunch of stuff not to open as dwarf stuff. Need to. Okay, I was gonna do Lady quickly and I'll give you that in a moment. Because I already got a bunch of that shit open now. Yeah, I'm just looking on the big map quickly to see if I see the place I'm looking for on the.
What was it called again?
It's the Cold Lands. They're in northeast Faerun. And there's a whole bunch of different kingdoms there. Dwarven kingdoms, actually.
Region Northeast favor. Okay.
For example, Damara has got a very big population of of dwarves, sorry. My apologies.
I know or
I'm just having a look. Do I have a map on?
Coldland has Vasa.
Yep.
That's a city in Finland.
Yeah. Does your dwarf want to be from there?
Sure, why not?
That's actually got one of the biggest dwarf populations on the continent.
Sure, why the fuck not?
Like, it's something like, I think 30% or 40% of the population is dwarf. It's pretty cool.
Hey, Letty, how would you add a +1 weapon on Charforge?
+1. Yeah, you just add it in the equipment page.
No, like override?
No, you just go to
No,
the
it's actually
page,
in the
go to
thing.
weapon.
When you choose your weapon, you can choose an enhancement for it.
Yeah, you select the weapon and then you select the bonus, which is like +1, +2, +3.
Sorry, Hippo,
Thank you.
what did you want to know?
Apart from humans, who were the second most traded with group for the dwarves?
It used to be half-elves, before they got wiped out.
When did they got wiped out? At the start of the war?
Yeah, about a year into it.
Half elves don't have. They just speak common. Fuck it. My dwarf knows elven now.
Pointy-eared faggots.
Well, he's been in the city for the last 20 years. He would have picked some of it up.
Well, before that, he also, made shit in a different place, so would have learned the languages of the people he dealt with.
There you go.
Oh, he dealt with other dwarves.
Yeah, I've
Alright.
got Dwarven, Common, and Elven.
You can always put Undercommon, I suppose.
Oh, or trade him with, like, Duragar or something.
Well, probably not Durgar, because dwarves hate him with the fiery
Well.
fury of 1,000 suns, but...
Hey, kid, you want some guns?
But the deep gnomes
Ah.
and the drow to a lesser extent, although I suppose that would fall out under Elven. Yeah, if it was trading with deep gnomes, it would be Undercommon. If trading with drow, it would be Elven.
Of course, none of this matters if one of the magic items I take is the Helm of Comprehending Languages.
Ah.
Well, that only lets me understand it. Elven, yeah, I'll go with that.
Anything else?
Can I upgrade my armor from the armor listed in my thing to studded leather, which costs 45 gold?
Yeah, we'll just assume you have studded. If it's like basic equipment like that, anything that's not going to cost multiple hundreds of gold pieces like full plate, then it's fine. You guys can have it. I'm assuming that somewhere over, your last century of life you managed to acquire
Hey,
a suit of
my
studded.
dwarf's at 201, and it's annoying to him that he saw his second 100th birthday not in a dwarf hold.
Oh dear. Is he going to be very crotchety?
Hey.
Okay, anything else? Is there a particular institution or anything that you guys would like to work for at the start of the campaign? Or group or type of people? Do you want to
Well,
work for the government? Do you want to work for private? Do you want to work for Merc? Local nobility?
I work for a merc group, so it's just a case of, for me, it's easy. It's who's our current patron, or are we simply, when not hired, like when we're not hired
Who
by a
is your
specific patron, we just fall in with the Order of the Purple Dragon, doing border patrols and being handed out normal day-to-day assignments.
Who is your current patron? The nobleman? Is it a Burgermeister? Is it the Purple Dragon Knight?
Currently, what I've got, as far as my thinking has gone for my character at the moment, because of the, well, not so recent, I'd say it was maybe 2 or 3 years earlier, not that long ago, maybe like a year earlier, where Dylan's caravan that we were guarding was attacked and everybody was slaughtered. Our commander has he's been given some information with regards to the specifics around the people that attacked us, specifically who in the actual people that were there, and I'm on a fact-finding or information-gathering mission to get more info on them, so that we can hang them, draw them, quarter them, gut them, drown them, shoot them, stab them, and poison them.
Okay. So would you say is your patron?
At the moment, I'd say that the company we'd be currently on contract with the Purple Pack.
Okay, you guys are working for the government. Perfecto.
Well, basically at the moment, yeah, we're on contract with them at the moment, and just as one of my orders for my CEO has been to try and dig up some more about this, because the dragons are aware of what's happened, and they would also like to, get some sweet revenge on the filthy knife ears who, dared to slaughter innocent humans.
Yes. Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, I think what'll be good is we'll just do like the 1 or 2 sessions where we'll just ease into it, because obviously starting at level 10 with new classes, everybody's going to have bonus actions and short rest abilities and reaction spells and things that you've never used before. So I think what we'll do is we'll start off the first session. We'll pick everybody up, get the group together, maybe do one, like a little bit of a short travel montage, maybe 1 or 2 random encounters, just so everybody can kind of get a feel for the group dynamic and figure out what voice you character and all that good stuff. And then once we've done that, then we'll get a little bit more into it, and we'll do the Ruins of Myth-Draenor as your first like proper dungeon delve, all work together. If that sounds good with you guys.
Yeah.
Sure, sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to find out, or if we go cover all the ground we need to cover? Everybody happy with their stat? Everybody happy with their class? All that stuff. So we got 2 dwarves, a human, and an elf.
That's what it.
And we got a fighter and a druid. That's a goddamn unit. And a rogue. And we've got artificer. Yeah, you guys are actually like pretty well balanced. You've got plenty of short rest abilities between your group. Plenty of long rest abilities. Doodad Man can heal pretty effectively if he needs to in a pinch. You've got 2 half-casters as well for your arcane needs, so you should have enough magic to get you by as well. Yeah, it's actually a very, very well-balanced group.
I have a mechanical servant as well.
Oh, did you go for the mechanical servant?
You have no choice. You must have one.
What kind of mechanical servant you got?
Well, I've got a choice of any large beast that's CR2 or lower.
Mm-hmm. So what are you thinking?
Probably saber-tooth tiger.
Mechanical saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily has to be in the shape of a saber-tooth tiger. It just uses that thing's stat block. Ideally, it would be like an Arkan Land style monkey, simian type thing.
Well, let's see.
But
Allosaurus, giant boar, giant elk, hunter shark, plesiosaurus, polar bear, and ostrich saber-tooth tiger.
I was also tempted to take an aurochs because there's like a giant goat thing.
Yeah. Max CR2. Oryx. Is it Oryx? What book is that in?
Volos. Yeah, Volos.
Oh, is it lower level than 2?
No, it's CR2.
Huh, don't see it here.
You looking on Donjon?
Oh, it doesn't. No, I'm looking on Cobalt Fight Club.
Oh.
It's a beast, yeah?
Yeah.
Or is it an animal?
That's beast. There it is on there. I'll have to check Volos to make sure that it's right. But that looks about right.
That's on the dndwiki.com.
Yeah,
How
I know.
could you do this, Hippo? You've betrayed me. Yeah, if it's in Volos. But I think it's a homebrew creature you're looking at, mate.
No, Donjon says it's in Volos, page 207.
Might have different stats.
Yeah, let me look. Open up Volo.
Because, yeah, that's a homebrew page you're on currently.
Oh god, where's my Volos?
And you know what they say about homebrew from that place?
It's great, and everyone should use it.
Yeah, Aurora. Challenge rating 2. Stats are a little bit different on that page, but not too different.
Jesus Christ, where is my fucking Volos?
Never mind that. I'm just trying to find it in Volos.
207.
Fucking A for some reason.
Yeah, because it starts with A.
No, it's not under A.
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying.
Appendix A, Assorted Beasts. 207 page.
There we go.
Where the fuck is Volos? I deleted it by mistake.
Don't do that.
Get rid of a fucking book here.
Let's see. Jesus. Thing is pretty beefy.
It's a beef boy.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
beefcake. That's the joke.
That's the joke?
Volo, that's okay. I have to download it again.
Okay, yeah, the Volos ones are not quite as OP. Further one has got higher constitution but less damage. And that would go.
Your damage isn't too important.
Yeah, no. It's just this charge is 3d8 on the homebrew and 2d8 on the Volos. Volos has actually got a higher chance to hit because 7 is supposed to plus 5. 2d8. Yeah, it should be fine. I don't see a problem with that. You basically just want him for his carrying capacity.
Yeah, that and something I can ride around on.
Lazy bastard.
I've been sat in a city for the past 20 years.
You can always just make yourself an Allosaurus. They're challenge rating too.
What, and have a mini T-Rex?
You can ride around on, shoot guns at people. I'm still going to make a fucking artificer type character one day that has like diva style fucking mech you can climb into and shoot out of.
Take something with resistance to poison. I think poison. Take a giant toad and then have the toad eat you and then sit inside it.
Glorious squig.
And it would essentially then be a mech with a slight radiation leak.
Amazing. There's a class in Pathfinder that I wish they would port to 5ed, do something similar to 5ed called the Summoner. And what makes the Summoner really fun in Pathfinder is it's a spellcasting class similar to the Wizard, but your spell progression isn't quite as strong. Like you don't go all the way to like 9th level spells. You only get up to 6th level at max, level 20. But what makes the class really fun is the fact that they get a special thing called an Eidolon. It's a ritual, it takes 1 minute to perform. And the Eidolon is essentially a summonable monster that you can customize. And you can pick like its class features and things for it, like from a big list. And it has kind of like DNA pointers, where as you level up, it gets more and more and more points. You can like add on traits onto it. So you can make like increase its base land speed by like 30 foot, add on 6 extra arms, for extra attacks, make it poisonous, make it bigger, make it taller, add wings, give it spell resistance. So instead of having like a spell that you use to like summon a bunch of minions, every day, using normal summon monster magic, you just have like one creature that's like uber customizable that you can summon. It's pretty cool. It's a really fun class. And then like later on, you start being able to like link your health totals together, or swap places with it, like with teleportation, like swap location. Way later on, you can merge forms as well, so you can turn some Chimera that can shit out magic and fight at the same time. Pretty fun.
That does sound pretty kicking.
It's a really fun class. I think it's really well designed. It's basically like Pokemon Deathmatch. But you know, your Pokemon is a giant, well, whatever. You can make it anything, basically. It doesn't have to be based on an existing creature. It's also the pain in the ass to actually play because of keeping involved.
Okay, where did my list of magic items go? There they are. Okay, let's actually pick some magic items now.
Pick some magic item.
Danger Noodle.
Danger Noodle.
Oh shit, D&D Beyond has a magic item finder as well.
No idea. One day, man. One day.
What?
I will buy myself a Beyond book and subscriptions.
Let's search for everything and exclude wondrous items. And common.
Fucking Oglavis. Okay, everybody good?
Yep.
Yes.
First, shall I leave you to your artificing?
Yeah, I've got spells and stuff to pick.
Those of you with spells need to pick your spells.
What kind of magic
roll-
item is that?
What?
What?
The Band of Loyalty.
Everything's sorted.
Well, it's
What?
probably a wondrous item, so it doesn't.
It is. But I don't know why it's shown up in this search. What even? If you are
Does it do-
reduced to 0 hit points while attuned to a Band of Loyalty, you instantly die.
Wow.
Say that again?
If you are reduced to 0 hit points while attuned to a Band of Loyalty, you instantly die.
What the fuck?
But why?
It does go on to say these rings are favoured by spies who can't afford to fall into enemy hands.
Ah, okay, it makes sense.
But for a player?
I mean,
I mean, it's from the book Wayfinder's Guide to Eberron, so I suppose it's designed as a, item for the DM that the players can then find. Like, hey, you have this thing now.
I'm curious to see what the artificer is going to be in the month.
Yeah, hopefully it's gonna be neat. If not, I'll just stick with the UA one.
I think it's going to be good. I think they've
Hopefully,
learned from their design. The rest of the new stuff has been pretty neat. Artificer. Let's see, what do artificers even get? They get fancy magic items, right?
Yeah, not a huge list, but some neat ones.
You're the making of the artificer.
Fuck it. For my second common item, I'm just gonna take smoldering armor.
Oh dear.
Smoke and shit started coming out my clothes. Spent too long near the forge.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
And then what was it? One uncommon.
Yeah. Oh wow, you get some pretty nice stuff actually.
Yeah.
Bag of holding. Always
Yeah,
nice.
I'm gonna. I've chosen those ones already. I'm gonna do bag of holding, robe of useful items, and eyes of minute seeing.
Hmm.
I did look at the bag of beans, but it just seems
So you're gonna have 3 in
Bizarre.
total, right?
free
You're
free
gonna
from
have
that.
second, fifth, and thing.
Yeah,
And
free,
then you have
free
this,
from
you
that.
know,
Free from
yeah.
this free stuff. And
Bag of beans is pretty great.
some of the stuff on there is just bizarre. Like a fucking pyramid comes out of the ground. The mummy inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Strong. Time of opening is also pretty cool. Although you guys have Dylan for that. Decanter of Endless Water is also really good. Oh, handy haversack. Holy shit, you can get one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, those things are my favorite.
What exactly is the benefit of that over a bag of holding?
Bag of holding, you don't know what you're trying to get.
Well, a bag of holding, you just think what you want and it comes.
Not in combat, I believe. Double check, because as far as I know, in combat you're gonna basically have to like sit and search through the whole bag of holding to try and find what you're looking for. Yeah, so basically a handy haversack. The item you're looking for is always on top.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's also split up into multiple things. So got like side pouches where you can store things. And like a middle pouch where you can store stuff as well.
But isn't Hewitt's handy haversack a wondrous item to begin with?
It
Yes,
does.
but he's playing an artificer.
Yeah, I can make one.
Instead of getting like a feat or a skill when he levels up, he gets a free magic item at level 2, 5, and 10.
As in, and it includes wondrous items in the list.
He has a specific list that artificers pick from.
Oh, that is so unfair.
Oh,
And so cool.
He doesn't get any like there's the artificer link if you want to have a look at it. It's like artificers only get up to level 4 spells, so they're not like wizards that get up to level 9 spells. And level 4 spells they only get up to like level 13. So it's not like they, or no, actually higher. Level 19 is when they get level 4 spells.
Okay.
So they're not like magic powerhouses. They get a mechanical servant, but the servant isn't very good in combat. That's more of a out of combat. Think of it as like a clockwork horse kind of deal, horse/robot porter. Somebody to carry your baggage.
Okay. Oh, cool.
And they get guns. They can use, and they get alchemical formula, things like alchemist fire or that kind of stuff, or they can go gun. Choose. They can get guns, and then their big thing is they get they can put their magic in items. So let's say they want to cast a light cantrip, for example, they could store it inside a penny, and then give the penny to somebody else, and then that person could activate the penny to cast a spell at a later point. Like they make magical gewgaws. But yeah, they're not very good in combat. Like they're okay, but they're not nearly as powerful as a straight caster or a straight fighter.
More utilitarian kind of thing.
And then they can also attune more magic items than other classes. And then you'll see if you scroll down, they have a specific list. For example, at second level, they could get a bag of holding or a cap of water breathing.
No, I saw the stuff in it. It looks pretty cool. Okay, well, I've got all my stuff wrapped up for the night, so...
Yeah, enjoy, man.
Anyway, so, we're gonna start next week, or
Yes, we start Wednesday.
time in between, or how do you want to do it?
No, we'll start Wednesday, same time, same place as usual.
Cool
Get it.
bananas.
I have
All right,
found.
have an awesome
my
evening, guys, and I'll chat to you guys
uncommon.
again soon.
See ya.
Yeah,
See,
sleep well, man.
odd question.
Yes.
But if I have a +1 weapon, will Shillalak also work on it at stack with that?
No, I don't think so. Let's have a look.
Alright.
I have found a neat little uncommon item for my uncommon.
Do tell.
The Weapon of Warning.
Oh, the one who's like, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, I get advantage on initiative rolls, and you and any of your companions within 30 feet of you can't be surprised, except when incapacitated by something other than non-magical sleep. And the the weapon magically awakens you and your companions within range if you're sleeping naturally when combat begins. So it's like a ghetto alarm as well.
Yeah. It is pretty basically ghetto along.
No, lady, it doesn't stack.
Oh. That is extremely disappointing.
Sorry.
I would have like the idea of having just a +1 club is extremely hilarious.
Yeah, you totally get those. Carved out of ironwood or something.
Yeah, I know. It's just like the idea of like making a club which is like just kind of like a dinky ass weapon, just a +1.
So,
It's just like 1d4 damage.
what weapons you gonna use, Hippo?
Uh,
What magic items you gonna use from your artificer list?
yeah, Bag of Holding, Robe of Useful Items, and Eyes of Minute Seeing.
Good.
Now I gotta pick my spells. How many spells do I get? 10th level. I know 7 spells.
Okay, everybody happy with the characters?
Yes.
I just need to figure out how in God's name I'm gonna get you lot together.
Have fun with that.
Ready?
I was just saying, I don't know what magic items to take.
Well, you have such a vast selection.
Yeah, no. Just like look at all of the selection.
You guys have got an interesting spread, like selection.
Oh no, I don't get 3rd level spells yet.
Unfortunately not, man.
No Revivify for me.
Oh dear.